See the real Tua Tagovailoa.
That is just great stuff.
You drafted him 5th overall because you know Ryan Fitzpatrick can't get it done.
Seems like it's an evaluation process.
Do they think that he does not have greatness inside of him?
There are very few players in the NFL that we spent more time talking about over the last 12 months, maybe longer than that, than this one. Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, is with us live on behalf of Truist, an official retail bank of the National Football League. And Tua, thank you very much for making a few minutes here. And so let's start with that. Everyone is constantly evaluating how you play. How would you evaluate your first year in the NFL?
Yeah, I'd say I'd evaluate my first year as, not up to the expectation I wanted to play, or, what I expected myself to be at. And it just gives me another opportunity, this off season, to work on the things that, I didn't do as good at this past year. So, I'm just looking forward to trying to make that, leap from this year 1 to year 2 jump.
Why do you say that? Many people will look at some of the numbers and look at some of the success the team had and might evaluate you in a very positive way. Why do you feel that way?
Well, because I have high expectations for myself. And for me, if I'm not meeting those expectations, then, to me, it's never good. And there's always ways to get better. And, for me, I'm just looking at trying to get better this off season. And like I said, try to be a lot better from year 1 to year 2.
Which is frequently a place where young quarterbacks will make a big jump. There's no question about that. But here you are in something of a rude welcoming, and hopefully that we will be able to get Tua back here. I can see it appears to have paused. There we go. He seems to be back. Tua, no problem. And something of a rude awakening to the business side of the business. Here you are 1 year into your career, and suddenly your team is in the midst of all of these trade rumors involving another quarterback. What is your reaction to some of the conversation that you hear that you probably cannot avoid hearing across the NFL?
Well, like I've said before, I can control what I can control. And, I'm the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. And, really, I'm just looking forward to being the best version of myself, looking at getting better this offseason, and just helping our team win games next year. Like I said, I'm trying to be a lot better from year 1 to year 2, and it really starts, now in this offseason.
And what have you heard from the organization relative to their plans for the future and their plans for you?
Well, we haven't talked anything about trade or, any of, that outside talk. Really, we're just talking about what we can get better with, this offseason. So, I've been able to talk to Coach Flo, here and there. I know they've been busy with the Senior Bowl, but like I said, I'm just trying to get better with this year 1 to year 2 jump. And trying to focus on the things that I can continue to help, win our team games next year.
And so what are those? What are the things you feel you will be better at year 2?
I think the biggest thing for me is the pre-snap operations, getting to the line, calling the play, but, understanding what everyone's doing, where everyone needs to go, where everyone needs to be. And then just the entire pre-snap operation with the snap count, the times going down, knowing the down and distance, everything before the actual snap happens. And then, pre-snap versus post-snap reads with what the defense is giving me.
All those things are probably things that will be assisted by having a true off season and a preseason and all the things that you didn't get the benefit of. And so I would leave it with this question. As I started the conversation, I told you have probably been discussed and analyzed as much as any young football player I can ever remember. How would you describe what it has been like, what it has been like for you over the last year, with everyone seeming to pick and pry apart everything you've done?
Well, I would say the good thing is I don't watch too much TV, so I don't get to hear a lot of what people say about me. I'd say the only time I get to hear that is when I have to do media, after practice on Wednesdays and then Thursdays as well. But other than that, I think it's really cool being talked about. But for me, my biggest focus is trying to be better for the Dolphins, and also try to help us win games next year.
Tua, we appreciate the time very much. There is one show you could watch every day between 8 and 10 on ESPN. It's excellent. Outside of that, I have no issues whatsoever. Thank you very much. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Good luck as this thing goes forward. We'll talk to you down the road. Being the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. We're going to run the floor coming up, but can we bring the guys in? I wanted to try and get some reaction from our crew before we do that. But you tell me, Chrissy, do you want to go to the NBA? Oh, we can bring everybody in. Sorry about that. Just a little miscommunication. Let me bring the crew back in because I do want to react to that. It is, Dominique, I mean, these are difficult circumstances for any young player to be in. He's out there. He's a rookie who's coming off a major injury in his senior year, his final year of college. He had no off-season program. He had no preseason. He goes out there, does the best he can. And now, here in his first off-season, the whole world is talking about his team trading for Deshaun Watson. Those are pretty complicated circumstances to give a young person.
Yeah, and we talked about this around Aaron Rodgers, how at some point kind of all quarterbacks learn that they are players too, and it happened for him pretty early because they are already talking about moving him. They already have pulled in, or at least people outside the organization have discussed moving him. They put in Fitzpatrick and pulled him a couple times. It's a tough business, and I think that he's going to be a very good quarterback, and it's likely that he's going to be the starter down there for a while. But I think this type of strategy or this type of challenge is something that a starting quarterback in the NFL will be able to overcome, and I think Tua is strong enough to be able to overcome it.
Yeah, look, he played under an enormous spotlight at Alabama, so it's not like he's new to that sort of thing. Louis Riddick, what are your thoughts, and what did you make of his response when we were talking about these Deshaun possibilities that are just impossible to ignore?
Yeah, I'll start with the latter. Look, I think Tua really responded, Greeny, exactly like you would expect him to. This is a young man who has tremendous poise. He played at one of the most hyper-analyzed programs in all of college football down there at Alabama, so he's used to this. I mean, he says he doesn't watch TV, but he knows what's being talked about. He knows what the expectations are for him, both going forward and what they were coming into the league because of the success that he had at Alabama. And as far as, what's going to happen with him going forward, look, I think we're in such a unique time where, because of how quickly some quarterbacks are having success, and you have to take it on a case-by-case basis, and you just can't paint all these guys with one brush. But because of some of the success that some of these young guys are having right away, we expect guys to come into this league and hit the ground running, throwing for 400 yards and having 3 touchdowns and having, just ridiculous passer ratings. And if we don't get that right away, we're ready to just throw them out and go, just bring in the next one. Give me a high draft pick and bring in the next one. There's no right now patience for developing players and giving them a year or two. This year 1 to year 2 jump, I bet that it does happen for this young man, and I believe Brian Flores is going to try and build this football team around him because they've got a good base established down there, starting with Tua, and I think they will give him the help he needs, and he'll have a heck of a 2021.
I think that's right. But Dan Graziano, we will acknowledge that we have a circumstance that basically never happens in the NFL, which is a young superstar quarterback in his prime looking to be traded. And the Dolphins are a team that have a lot to give up. Very quickly, Dan, I just have 30 seconds. What is the latest as far as Watson and the Miami possibility?
Look, they'll look into it just like they would with any potential upgrade. Tua's their guy right now. If something ridiculous happens and they can take a chance on a player like Watson, then I would expect them to explore it. But Tua is the guy that they're planning around.
Yeah, that's the plan until all of a sudden the plan changes. They've got a ton of draft capital. If you can get Deshaun Watson, you get Deshaun Watson. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll take a break. Still to come. We've got bulletin board material in advance of the Super Bowl. It's coming straight from the top of the Kansas City organization. Don't miss this. It's on the way next. It's Get Up on ESPN.